Welcome to the Made in Bloomsbury podcast. I'm here with Florence. Hi, Florence.
Hi, Michael.
Thank you so much for coming on, Florence, and it's a pleasure to have
Thank
you.
you for having me.
No worries.
It's my pleasure.
No worries. So tell the audience, tell us about yourself. Quick bio, maybe.
Well, basically, I've been a journalist most of my professional life. I'm French, but based in Brussels since 2005. And actually, I've been covering EU affairs for more than 20 years, and mostly for financial newspapers and or economic newspapers. But I've written a series of essays about EU politics as well, including also biography of Chancellor Merkel. My background is in, I mean, economics, my, finance, and political science. Well, but it's a bit far away.
Nice. Yeah, we share that background. We studied
Exactly.
economics as well up to master's level, and some of your uh, writings has actually been very inspirational. So I would like to ask you, what is the inspiration behind doing what you're doing?
Wow. It's not easy to, I mean, why am I writing, why am I working as a journalist? I mean, basically, it's a good question because I could have done something different. I mean, my first job that was there as a diplomat in the French embassy in Germany. So I did that 4 years, and then I wanted to, I don't know, I wanted to talk to a broader audience. I guess that was the reason, because basically I was doing economic intelligence, but working only for, the people in the government, the large French companies. I was
Mhm.
reporting to them about the German economy at the time, but I was willing to. Yes, to switch to the press, maybe to be freer, and to test my ability to tell stories. Maybe it's that. Well, anyway, well, that's what I decided to do back in my late 20s. But why Substack? Uh, because the world of the press I mean, has changed a lot, and I was very busy with reporting after the financial crisis. I mean, before as well, but there has been a very intense period between um, even 2007, when it actually began. When you were working for financial news outlets, I mean, 2007 was already. I mean, you could feel that something was coming. So until the mid 2010s, I mean, until 2015, I would say that was quite busy here in Brussels, and but there was a backlash of the crisis also on the press industry, and from 2016, 17, I began to have difficulties to cover some issues because I couldn't convince my editors that it was useful to go in that direction and to let me research such and such subjects. So
Mhm.
I tried to survive, but then finally I decided to write for myself. I mean, to yes, I mean, to
Yes.
I was looking for a new way, sorry, to publish and edit stories, and that's how I decided to launch my own Substack channel. But basically, at the origin, it was more to put online and to get rid, if I may say so, of stories that I couldn't have published, that I hadn't published elsewhere, you see. So I mean, that was a way to say, wait, I'm not gonna work obsessively on these issues for the next 2 or 3 years. I have to put it down, write this story, publish it, and let's see what happens. And then the good surprise is that there was some interest in some of the stories,
Yeah.
and I began to publish more news or shorter analysis and not only very long inquiries.
Nice. That sounds very interesting. I'm sure there's lots of added value. But I'm now wondering, what is the ambition of your Substack?
Well, it's a good question because I'm precisely, I mean, still thinking about what's my aim. I mean, if I, to be honest, I mean, ideally, I would try to gather more subscribers and make a living of it. But my aim is not to remain like a lonesome writer behind my at my desk and working alone. I mean, ideally, I would like to work with other people who
Hmm.
can feel the same sense of frustration about how, I mean, what they can write about and how they can cover EU affairs. Um, so basically, I don't know what's going to happen this year, but my aim first is to try to publish more frequently, more regularly, and maybe find a few fellows who would join either my Substack or create something else, but with the same ambition to make more economic and financial reporting on the EU.
Fantastic. And
Yes.
I've seen that one of your articles has actually gone viral. The article titled "The Net Zero Multinational," which took over Brussels. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Oh, yes. That's funny because that's precisely the inquiry because of which I launched the Substack. And that's, well, it's about a so-called European Climate Foundation, which is the foundation of foundations that has been created like 15 years ago. And it's a relatively unknown institution here in Europe in general. But those are people that I found again and again when writing about fisheries, agriculture, climate change, transportation policies, and they were everywhere when I was writing for newspapers. And then I decided to have a look at who they were, and that's why I began to look into this. I mean, it's not a corporation. I mean, again, that's a foundation of foundations. So, and the unbelievable thing that I discovered that is that they distribute about 160 million euros in subsidies every year that they give them to hundreds of NGOs in Europe, but especially in Brussels. And so they have a huge influence on European politics. So I tried to talk to people working with them and tell the story of this organization, which has played a great role in what we call the Green Deal, which was the main political item that the European Commission pushed forward in 2019, 5 years ago, when the head of the Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, took the helm. So I wrote this story, and then I tried to sell it everywhere, and I couldn't find anybody to publish it. So then I decided to have this Substack. The funny thing is that at the time there were a few colleagues, journalists, activists who dropped me a line saying, "Well, it's very interesting, super, that's very good what you did." But that was spread by a few hundred people, and I was back in February 23. And the point is that the head of this organization, Laurence Tubiana, who is a former Sherpa, a counselor of the French government, who played a great role in the so-called Paris Agreement on climate. And she was relatively unknown, but suddenly in July 24, she was, I mean, she was a possible French prime minister. That was her name came up as a surprise to many people in the news as a possible prime minister pushed by the left-wing parties, at least part of them. And to me, it was not a surprise because I knew how influential her organization, the organization she led for many years already, and how influential it was. And that was kind of confirmation of what I understood about this about again the power of this foundation of foundations. So I retweeted, or I made a simple tweet, maybe not even thread. That was maybe two tweets, pushing again my story without nothing new, I would say. That was in July, and suddenly it went viral. I have about 2,000 subscribers on Twitter. So it's not like when I tweet, it's a global event, that's that's really for my narrow cycle. But then I tweeted that, and then it went really viral within 24 hours. There was more than 600,000 views on Twitter, because I guess, what I understood is that on the left was divided on her name. And so there was a fight which occurred offline, but also online. And I was in I guess, I don't know exactly what happened. I must say, I was here in Brussels at home, and I was looking at my phone like, it was unbelievable what's going on. I stopped, I turned off the notifications because my phone was like, was pumping. That was crazy. So, and at the end, she didn't resign, but she said that she would not become prime minister, that she would not accept the job, which is okay. Let's be modest. That's not my fault. That was also not my aim. That she would not become prime minister. My aim was just to put back. In the news, or who she was, and what she had been doing for the last years. And well, that's strange. It still questions me. About how people react and what kind of information they share, and why a certain story, a certain inquiry can, stay basically, or in the dark, and sometimes it comes up and it becomes, it is widely shared. I think my conclusion is that if you know your subject, if you think something is important, even if it's not in the news, you should perseverate and try to work on it, because sometimes, it can become meaningful to others, even if you feel a bit lonesome at the beginning.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on and for that very inspirational story. I hope you continue to go viral, and everyone who's listening, please do subscribe to Florence's Substack.
Okay, thanks very much, Michael. I wish you, the best for this year and to develop your own Substack and your own activities broadly. And I hope we talk again
Perfect. Thank you
later
so
this
much.
year. Thanks very much, Michael.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thanks for having me.